This is E3. The competition, the chaos, the once a year, once in a lifetime, one in a million video game extravaganza. This is where everything starts. It's the launching pad for the next big thing. The debut, the birth, the first sighting, the next level, the mecca. What happens here changes the world immediately, before your eyes, in real time. This is E3, and G4 brings it to you, totally live. G4 and Attack of the Show present E3 06 Live.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Bathing it. It feels good. Come on, keep it going. Oh, it tingles. That means it's working, Olivia. All right, everybody, welcome to E3 06 Live, presented by Scion and Mountain Dew. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm Kevin Pereira.
And I'm Olivia Munn. This is it, gaming's biggest event of the year, the one we've all been waiting for, and only G4 can bring you the exclusive insider information you crave.
That's right. This week at the LA Convention Center, the wraps are coming off all of the gaming world's top secret projects. Everybody is here. We're talking Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and lucky for them, they didn't forget to pack their next-gen consoles. Very wise.
The developers are here, too. Over 400 companies from 80 countries will be unveiling thousands of new games and gadgets, and we're bringing all of it to you right at home.
That's right. We're going to be coming to you live every day, 3 hours a day for 4 days straight. I have no stamina. This is going to be tough, but it's a good thing. You can last, and it's good, because E3 is not open to the public. It's industry insiders only, but don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to sneak you in with us, maybe in a handbag.
We've got an all-access pass with your name on it, so you'll get to see everything that's going on. In fact, you're even getting an exclusive sneak peek at the new Attack of the Show set.
Ooh, look at that right there, huh? TV
You'll
heads.
be seeing more of these handsome gentlemen on the all-new AOTS debuting this Monday at 7 p.m.
That's right, but right now, kids, buckle your seatbelts and put those tray tables in an upright and locked position. I'm serious, Walkman off. Let's get this live extravaganza underway.
And it just wouldn't be E3 without our own resident gaming experts from XPlay, Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb. If it has a controller, takes cheat codes, and causes carpal tunnel syndrome, they know everything about it. Hey guys, are you ready to get this party started? Yeah.
Thank you, Olivia. I'm Adam Sessler, and if, by party mean the most in-depth, brutally honest, potentially violent look at everything at this year's E3, well, then yes, we're ready to get this party started, both right and quickly.
Yeah, and for those of you who are keeping score at home, I am Morgan Webb, and ever since early January, the anticipation for E306 has been building at the back of my skull like a tingling feeling. Or it could be a tumor.
It's not a tumor. All week long, we'll be bringing you the most exciting E3 action. Now, the show floor isn't even open yet. And my God, let's look at what we've learned already. Now, Xbox owners, they no longer have to wait to play Grand Theft Auto. It was announced at the Microsoft press conference today that Grand Theft Auto 4. This is 4. This is not. This is the new one. Will be available on the Xbox 360 the day the game launches on October 16th, 2007. The 360, not just the PS2.
Yes, and there is some more big news. Sony announced the price of the PlayStation 3, and get ready because it's going to cost you. There is a $499 version and a wallet-shattering $599 version. We're going to have all the details later in the show, so you can find out if the console is worth mortgaging your house for.
Yes, now, plus we've got an exclusive invite into the Nintendo booth where I got to go hands-on with the Wii before anyone else. That's
Lucky.
right. The day before the show even starts, I played Ubisoft's Red Steel, and you are not going to believe what this console can do.
And Will Wright is going to be stopping by to show off his latest masterpiece, Spore.
And we've got the exclusive premiere of the latest trailer for Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots.
Now, with the gaming world all abuzz, you may be wondering why the expo floor looks just a little less crowded than usual. It's because today is press conference day. Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo are all holding massive media events, and G4's got people at every post collecting all the insider info that no one else can bring you. Take it away, guys.
Yo, this is Zach Selwyn. I'm here at the Sony press conference. I got information on the launch date. I got the prices, everything you need to know about the Sony PS3. Stay tuned.
Hey, I'm Kristen Holt here at Nintendo's big press conference, and I've got the lowdown on all things Wii. The controller, the release window, Super Mario Galaxy. You'll know everything I know later in the show.
Hey, I'm Jeff Keighley here at the Microsoft press briefing at the Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood. And Xbox just rocked the house. They unveiled Halo 3. We'll have all the details coming up for you in just a few minutes. But right now, back to the stage.
Thanks, everyone. There's so much going on here this week, and you guys at home aren't going to be left out either. We want to know what you think.
Yeah, that's right. You guys need to check out our Heat Index. This is a new thing. It's very cool. Just log on to g4tv.com/E3 and let us know what you think is burning up the show. You can also, if you're one of those cell phone kids, there's 2 or 3 of you out there, text E3 to G4TXT. That's 44898 to vote and register for live E3 news alerts.
We'll be checking the Heat Index every hour and reading your comments on air, so make them good.
Seriously, be witty. But let's go over a few basics, shall we? All right. Just what is E3 and why are we making such a big deal about it? Well, take a look at this, and all will be revealed.
Using more electricity than the Vegas Strip and a Stones concert rolled into one, E3 is 4 days of semi-controlled chaos where thousands of new video games are unveiled, hot new consoles make their debut, and game companies will do anything to get your attention. And I do mean anything. This year's E3 will take us into the future of gaming with Sony's new PlayStation 3 with its eye-popping graphics, Nintendo's Wii, which promises to change the way you play video games, and a first look at the next killer games for the Xbox 360. 2006 will be the biggest E3 ever, and it's the only place to get a first look at the games that will be rocking your world for months and even years from now. There's just one catch. It's not open to the public. But that's where we come in. This year, G4 will be taking you inside E3 for all the big games on the next-gen consoles and all the insanity from the biggest video game event in the world. The future of gaming is here, and we'll get you in.
Huh? Pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
It's very cool, and unless you have one of these, right? This is how you get it. No, this is a pass.
Oh.
I actually stole mine from an intern right there. But you can have this one. There you go.
Thanks.
Unless you got one of those, you're not getting in. You're not experiencing the awesomeness that is E3, and that's why, quite frankly, God created G4. That's right. Our exclusive coverage is better than some laminated pass any day. Chuck that. Get rid of it. They don't need it. We don't need it. Just stay tuned, and you'll know everything there is to know about this event.
And speaking of E3 info, Microsoft is holding one of the most highly anticipated media events of the day.
Yeah, that's right. I've certainly been waiting for it. In fact, I bought an Xbox 360 last year, and what I want to know is, what else am I going to be playing this year besides Oblivion and even more Fight Night?
Well, for that, we better check with Jeff Keighley, who's been camped out at the Microsoft presentation, and he's got some breaking news in his first report. Jeff?
I'm here at the Microsoft press briefing at the Grauman's Chinese Theater. The big news here was the unveiling of Halo 3. Get your energy storage ready. Master Chief is coming to the Xbox 360. And we've got your first look at the game right now.
Your future. This is the way the world ends.
Well, there was Halo 3, the world premiere. Looks pretty amazing. Master Chief is coming to the Xbox 360 in high def. That's not all Microsoft has. Lots of other news on Xbox 360 games, including Gears of War and 2 Human coming up.
Thanks, Jeff. No, I like how it said finish the fight. We were all
yes.
probably a little disappointed by the way Halo 2 ended. Maybe that was just me.
But also, are they ready to abandon, their money-making franchise, which is Halo? So we have Gears of War and 2 Human out there, but...
They're not going to abandon Halo.
Yeah.
That would be the stupidest move
Plus,
on their part.
The graphics now match the music and their quality.
So very excited. All right, now we are going to learn what's coming out of the house that Mario built. Nintendo is releasing a new console this year. As we know, it's called the Wii.
Because truly nothing is too adorable or whimsical for Nintendo.
Yes. Now, the Wii occupies an interesting place in the next-gen console wars. Well, Sony and Microsoft are hitting the market with vastly more powerful machines. Nintendo has focused on fundamentally changing the way games are played.
Knowing Nintendo, they're going to be inventing brave new ways to pet puppies and control Italian plumbers.
And there ain't nothing wrong with that. So, what are they going to show us? We have some answers in our first Nintendo Floor Report presented to you by Scion.
Hey, I'm Kristen Holt here at Nintendo's press event, and they put on quite the show. Last year at E3, we only got a tip of the iceberg of what was then codenamed the Revolution, but this year Nintendo let fly all the information we can handle on their new console, the Wii. Nintendo's plan with the Wii is to reach out to new gamers while giving the current gamers an experience they've never had in a game. The Wii's versatile controller was finally shown being used with a variety of games. In Wii Sports Tennis, you hold the controller just as you would a tennis racket and swing away. While Excite Truck has you using the remote as a steering wheel to keep your truck on track. They also revealed that the nunchuck attachment also has a motion sensor in it. But wait, there's more. The remote has a built-in speaker that will allow gamers to hear sound travel from their hands to the TV. Although Nintendo did not release any price info, they did give us enough information to tide gamers over until its release in the fourth quarter of 2006.
Well, we've heard from Microsoft, we've heard from Nintendo, and that means there's only one stop left on the console train.
Yeah, Atari.
No, Sony.
Oh.
And you know what that means?
Yes, I'm going to be broke. And it's PlayStation 3 time.
Zach Selwyn has the latest details on the most talked about new game system of the year. Take it away, Zach.
Hey, I'm standing here at the Sony press conference on the Sony Pictures lot. We got price information. We got launch date information. We got everything you need to know about the new PlayStation 3. Take a look. After a lot of speculation about how big a dent the PS3 would put in your pocketbook, from the low, low price of $300 all the way up to $1,000, gamers were just happy to get a real answer.
We will make PlayStation 3 available via a two-configuration plan. One with a 60-gigabyte hard drive disk, and the other with a 20-gigabyte hard drive.
That's right, Sony's using a two-tier pricing strategy a la Microsoft. You can bring home your PS3 with a 20-gig hard drive for $499. A PS3 package with a 60-gig hard drive will run you $599. But when can I take it home, you ask? Well, it looks like November 17th is the day you'll be shivering in the cold at 4 in the morning as you line up in front of Best Buy. And check out the controller. Remember that boomerang thing that nobody liked last year? Well, that's gone. Say hello to the new one. It may look like the old PS2 controller, but watch what it can do.
I can move this controller in 6 degrees of freedom using my hands as the entire input device.
2 words for Nintendo fans. Uh-oh. Well, with all this talk about the hardware, we didn't even get a chance to tell you about the games. Stick around to find out what you'll actually be playing once you get the new PS3.
Awesome, thanks for that, Zach. Everybody, don't forget, later in the show, we're going to have an exclusive premiere of Metal Gear Solid 4. Really good. So call the neighbors, tell them to turn on the TV or to keep looking through your blinds like they are right now.
That's right. Glue your butts to the chair. G4's exclusive coverage of E3 06 Live is just getting started.
Up next, we'll actually touch a PS3 and get a first look at Too Human when E306 Live returns on G4. E306 Live is presented by Scion. Cars ready for personalization. Scion, what moves you?
Everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to E306 Live, presented by Scion and Mountain Dew.
We've already gotten an advanced look at what Microsoft and Nintendo have up their sleeves, and now it's time for Sony to shine.
They will. They're going to do just that with a little next-gen console. It's called the PlayStation 3. Have you heard of it at all? Maybe,
yeah, it's already on my Christmas wish list.
Oh, good. Well, let's stop talking about it, and let's start touching the thing.
And who better to do just that than Morgan Webb? Take it away, Morgan.
Thanks, guys. Now to show us just how much action the PS3 can handle, we're going hands-on with Untold Legends Dark Kingdoms. We're very excited about that. Welcome, gentlemen. Now showing us the... there we go. Showing us the ins and outs of Dark Kingdom is producer Andy Seitz, and playing the game is Glenn Snyder. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now you need to focus on playing, because I understand this is a very difficult game, but you're up to the challenge. You might have played it once or twice before.
I'm excited.
Okay, so we've had Untold Legends on the PSP. We've had two Untold Legends games. What's the impetus for making it on the PlayStation 3?
Well, we had a couple of reasons behind that. First of all, the original Untold Legends games were incredibly successful. The original game sold over 500,000 units.
Yeah.
And the second version of the game, which came out just last month, is on track to meeting that same achievement. But most of all, what we wanted to do is just give the players more. We wanted to, take all the various gameplay elements, the visuals, the audio, the gameplay, and just expand upon them. We wanted to put the player in a very, very vibrant, fantastic world.
Okay, well, let's talk about the graphics. The graphics are what really excite people, I think, most about the PS3. People see the potential of the system. So are what we're seeing now on the screen, how close is this to the final version of what the graphics are going to look like?
I would say at this point we're about middle of the road. We have a lot of really cool graphical effects that we're working on integrating, especially now that the system's becoming more finalized and our engine's becoming more finalized, more stabilized. We have a lot of really cool effects in store for the player. So this is just kind of a glimpse into what the players are going to be expecting when the system launches later this year.
And how many characters are going to be able to choose from?
So you're going to be able to select from 3 different heroes.
Okay.
And the character that we have here is our warrior character. He's the brute. He's the guy that you wade into battle. You just want to go in, use your hammer, and just plow through everything in your path.
So I know the question on all the boys' minds is, are there any mostly naked dark elves?
There is
I knew there was.
One of the 3 characters is actually the Scout, Zala the Scout. She's the female of the group, and she is...
Scout being a polite way to say half-naked girl.
Yes, that's the PC way of saying half-naked girl.
Okay, I like that. I'm gonna go hang out with some scouts later, maybe.
Sounds like fun.
Okay, the environments are supposedly very destructible. What can you destroy in the...
So our goal with the game was basically anything that you come across, anything that looks like you can interact with, you should be able to interact with it in some way. You can pick it up, manipulate it, break it, anything.
Cool. Now, so people I think have been asking about this game. We don't know how much of a stat-based game it is, how much of an action game it is. So where does it fall in that line?
We're trying to achieve middle of the road there. We want people to, we want the game to be very accessible. We don't want to become burdensome with the number of stats. We want people to dive in, pick up the controller, and just really get to playing the game.
Okay, so now let's talk about the quest. Now, there's a few different ways to sort of approach these role-playing games. You can lead people on a set path, or you can give them more of an open world to explore and see where they go with it. So where does Untold Legends fall on that scale?
So Dark Kingdom is much more linear than the previous games. There's a very linear storyline that's involved. There are story arcs as you can go off and as you meet people along the way. But for the most...
like you can pick up side quests and help people find their lost peonies or whatever people lose in these games.
Exactly, but the overall story is a very linear, very direct story and very cinematic experience.
But you feel like it's balanced no matter which character style people play? Because I think people are going to go for the half-naked. The Scout, my bad.
Yeah, it's balanced, but the one thing we wanted to do with offering the 3 characters is offer very distinctive play differences. Not only did we want them to look different, we wanted them to play different, and I think that what we've done with the 3 is achieved the best of both worlds.
Okay, now Sony is definitely pushing its online component this year. It was a big focus of the press conference. Oh, that was a good hit. So what are you going to do with online?
So once we launch the game, our goal is to not have the game end when players pick it up. We want people to be able to access our online service, download additional characters, additional chapters within the story, as well as additional features within the game. So you can download.
And this is also what Sony was talking about at the press conference. They call them microtransactions, where you get like a gift certificate or like a little, looks like a little credit card, and then you swipe your card or you punch in your code, however it's exactly going to work. And you can buy extra, they showed guns and stuff, but you'll be able to get levels and that kind of thing.
Exactly. And after all, we're Sony Online Entertainment. We have to flex our
power. You got to be online.
Exactly.
All right, thank you so much. Now, I, of course, have to start restructuring my finances if I want to be able to afford a PS3 when they launch. So just so you don't remain hostless, because that would be terrible, here is Adam Sessler.
Hi, guys. Thanks, Morgan. Now, why did we open the show with the PS3 demo? Well, you think it's like going to a Kevin Federline concert and having him lead off with Popo Zhao. It's a recipe for disappointment. Not so with G4's exclusive E3 coverage. There is so much more great stuff on the way, your vertebrae will fuse, making it physically impossible to look away from the TV. It's happening now.
Up next, discover the PS3 game that's getting major buzz, and then witness the spore of one of gaming's biggest names as G4's exclusive coverage continues. E306 Live is presented by Mountain Dew, coming to you live and in color.
And we are back with E306 Live, sponsored by Scion and Mountain Dew. And now a guy whose only sponsor is his one from AA, Adam Sessler.
Oh, thank you so much, Olivia. All throughout our big week of coverage, we're going to be talking to the mighty shoguns of E3, the who's who of the gaming world, and maybe my mom, because she has nice things to say about me. But to kick things off properly, we have some FaceTime with Ted Price, the founder of Insomniac Games. Ted Price is head of Insomniac Games, as well as the chairman of the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences. Insomniac's first game, Disruptor, released for the PlayStation, was a critical success, but it was the 1998 release of Spyro the Dragon that really took the company to a new place. Insomniac has had a long run of commercial and critical hits like Ratchet and Clank for the PS2. The game won tons of awards, shipped over 2 million copies worldwide, and triggered lots of follow-up hits.
Now you're talking.
So it's no surprise that the company's first next-gen title, Resistance: Fall of Man, is one of the most anticipated games for the PS3. Looks like the man behind Insomniac won't be getting to sleep anytime soon. It was the easiest putt we could come up with. Now, Ted, Spyro the Dragon, Ratchet and Clank, Resistance: Fall of Man. It's kind of a leap from kind of the visual style and the tone of your other things. Was this something that you've wanted to do, or it's just, how do you explain it?
Well, you know, most people may not know that our first game was a first-person shooter, so we're really going back to our roots with this game.
Now, now, Resistance, it's both alternate past and aliens. It's got a lot of elements in it, so just kind of give us a taste.
Well, it takes place in 1951 in Great Britain, which is a pretty unique setting when it comes to these types of games. And despite what people may think, it's not a World War II shooter. In fact, World War II never even occurs in this game. The reason it doesn't occur is because there is a species called the Chimera, which have appeared and sweep across Asia and Europe and destroying everything in their path and end up in England. And you, as a player, take part in the efforts to drive them out of England.
Okay, so let's start with some of the gameplay elements. From some of the stuff we saw last year at the PS3, at the Sony press conference, and what we saw today, it seems like that you have a lot of support troops. It looks like it's support AI. How is that functioning in the game?
We've got a lot of characters who play along with you in the game, and there are definitely some areas where you're ensconced in these large, chaotic battles. You've got guys all around you, dying, helping you out, basically being your backup. And we spent a lot of time on some fairly complex AI systems to make sure that they behave intelligently and they do the things that you would expect them to do.
But it's fundamentally a first-person shooter. You aren't issuing commands to them in any way.
Right. It's all about action. It's all about using your weapons strategically, about figuring out how to take on these large groups of enemies. Now, not every level is a battlefield level. We also have plenty of areas where you're on your own and using stealthy tactics to take out enemies. We also have vehicles in the game. So in true Insomniac fashion, we really try to keep things varied.
Okay, now let's look at the enemy AI. You're just talking about the support AI, which you say is sophisticated. One of the bigger tricks you can find when you sort of have alien, non-human adversaries is sometimes they can, you can lean on the fact that they're dumb and stupid and just brute force. I have a feeling that's not the case with Fall of Man. How does it work in this?
Well, we really have tried very hard to make sure that our aliens do, I should say our enemies do intelligent things, whether it's diving out of the way of grenades, throwing grenades back at you, flanking the character, just keeping them on their toes. And we also, since this game has a little bit of a horror element in it, we make sure that the player is surprised pretty frequently in most of our levels. One of the things, though, that gets most of us excited at Insomniac is what we call hero moments in the game. And this is when you have an ally who's fighting along with you encountering an enemy who happens to be very close. And the enemy may grab the ally and maybe choke him to death or get on his back, as you may have seen in the press conference, and put a big spike through his head.
Yeah.
Now, what's cool about that is it's your opportunity as a player to save your ally, and that's what we call them hero moments. And since your allies are generally very important, they help you out in the game, you have some incentive to save them. On the other hand, if you're like me and you're a little bit masochistic and you're entertained by these gory deaths, then watch them die.
Oh, yes, and I was very entertained when I saw that. I may have to hold back and see what happens. Now, I have to say, especially with the experience of playing the Ratchet & Clank games, I think you guys in Insomniac are some of the best at finding pacing to keep the gamer involved in every level. What have you taken that you learned with Ratchet & Clank and sort of applied to Resistance Fall of Man, which is more of a hardcore first-person shooter, to maintain that same level of engagement and not just become shoot, 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 shoot?
Well, I think pacing is definitely important in this game. We've definitely learned a lot on the Ratchet & Clank franchise, and certainly we will be keeping a frenetic measured pace throughout the game so that players don't get tired of doing the same thing over and over again. But I think one of the coolest things that we brought over from Ratchet & Clank is our enthusiasm about exotic weapons.
Oh, good, good. That was, okay, you've answered the next question. A quick one just for our viewers at home and some people who saw some stuff from the Sony press conference. Some people may think that they don't see the distinctive qualities that would make it a PS3 game graphically compared to the Xbox 360. Obviously, your game is still in development.
Right.
What is there yet to come, and what do you know is possible with graphics for the PS3?
Well, as I mentioned during the press conference, what we showed 2 months ago at GDC was kind of the first look at the game. Since then, we've, I think, made pretty large graphical leaps just in a couple months' time, and I think you're going to see a continuation of that progress as we get closer to launch. Remember, we've got 6 months until launch now.
Yes, that is true.
So we have a proprietary engine, parts of which we've developed in collaboration with Sony, and while we continue to find more and more things we can do with the PlayStation 3 that add finesse, add detail to the worlds we're creating.
All right, well, good. You've got me very excited about this, and obviously coming from Insomniac, yes, yay. So thank you very much for joining us, Ted. All right, now I can't explain it, but I have a feeling, I don't know, Morgan Webb has some information for us. Am I right, Morgan?
You are right. You're so smart, Adam. Now, G4's video game coverage does not end with E3. There's a video game mashup, which is TV's only daily block dedicated to all things video game. The heart of the mashup is a show I know a little something about. It's called X-Play. We have a brand new set. It's where Adam Sessler and I play and review every game we can get our hands on, and we can get our hands on a lot of them. The mashup is 3 full hours of cheats, tips, tricks, and our brutally honest game reviews. You do not miss X-Play and the rest of the mashup weekdays from 4 to 7 p.m. right here on G4. Now, the Ridge Racer series is a classic, we all know, but it's never looked this good. Ridge Racer 7 is coming to the PS3, and this is an E3 Confidential brought to you by Art School Confidential.
I love the drift. There's still lots more E3 action coming your way, and considering that we've only really scratched the surface of our first hour, there'd better be, or else we'd have a whole lot of dead air. So
after the break, big news from Nintendo straight from the Wii's mouth. Then catch a peek at the breathtaking new game from the minds behind Far Cry. E306 Live is also brought to you by Sony Pictures Classic, Art School Confidential, in theaters everywhere May 12th.
All that for me. Okay, for you.
Okay, fine.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to E3 Live.
Presented as always by Scion and Mountain Dew.
Now, I hope you used your time wisely during the commercial to perhaps log on to g4tv.com/E3 and vote in our heat index. That's where you'll get all the info and decide what the most buzzworthy thing is here at the LA Convention Center today.
Yes, or if you want to be all fancy pants about it, text E3 to G4TXT. That's 44898. It's very complicated, but they'll remember to vote and register for E3 Live news alerts.
They're so good with the little, little chat pads.
The tiny little things.
It breaks my thumbs. There's so much going on at E3 that it's easy to forget that there are other things out in the world that you might need to know, believe it or not. But don't worry, though. Okay. We have a way to keep you clued in.
I'm Layla Cayley with all the news you need to know, what we call the feed. Britney Spears knows who Shakespeare is, and he is not part of her world. This, according to a former drama teacher whom the fleshy singer hired and subsequently fired after only 2 lessons. Quote, "I know who Shakespeare is, and I know he's dead, and I don't want any knights in armor stuff," Britney sniffed. When faced with an acting challenge, the teacher predicted that Britney would probably wink or shake her boobs or blow a bubble of gum, but not at the same time. The teacher stressed that would be asking way too much of her. Wipe that smile off your face or Walmart could charge you for it. The world's largest retailer wants to copyright the smiley face, which has appeared in its advertisements since 1997. The problem is, Walmart didn't invent it. In fact, nobody's really sure who did. When people walk around wearing a smiley face, a law professor tells the LA Times it's because they like it, not because they associate it with a particular company. That's right. Have you ever misplaced one of your favorite games? Don't worry, the Library of Congress could soon begin archiving video games. The library has been in talks with game publishers and other content providers to preserve digital materials. Librarian Laura Campbell says we are all faced with the potential disappearance of our cultural heritage if we don't act soon and act together. Take that, Walt Whitman. That's all the news for right now. Keep it right here on G4 for breaking news throughout the day and visit us on the web at g4tv.com. I'm Layla Cayley, and you've been fed.
I'm full.
You look full.
I'm
Maybe it's just water weight.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm retaining, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll sweat it out. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but E3 has actually been around for quite a while.
Yes, and it wasn't always the celebrity-laden spectacle it is now.
No. C-list. We're all about educating the audience here, so let's go back in time with this very special report on the history of E3.
'Tis the year of our Lord, 1695, and we are excited to be graced by Providence at this year's E3 convention.
You speak the good word, sir. We are coming to you enlivened for all the latest in the advancements of the amusement arts.
Perhaps the most choir-worthy news yet is Sony's release of the newest God-sent incarnation of their hoop and stick device.
Goody Webb has an exclusive hands-on review.
The new HS3 is ages ahead in development from the very first HS, or as we call it, the ye old version. Lo, we have this exclusive trailer to display. Gaze ye upon the glory.
Hear ye, hear ye! A new Hoop and Stick 3 shall be available at all your fine merchant shops this coming harvest season.
Thanks upon you, Goody Webb. Flee not, gentle flock, for we also have Nintendo's answer to the HS3. Peace upon you once again, Goody Webb.
Nintendo is not content to sit idly by, suffering the indignations of the HS3. Their righteous light hath shown a different path to success, taking advantage of the newfangled pocket clothing style with their new line of Jacob's Ladders, the Jacob's Ladder Lite. As ye can see, 'tis verily 30% smaller than the original Jacob's Ladder.
Is the Jacob's Ladder worth the season's wages?
Nay, Goodman Pereira, 'tis not.
Coming up after the break, tactile-sensitive corn husk dolls and an exclusive exchange with Increase Matha. Verily, after these missives.
Well, that seemed extremely plausible. And please, check back with us over the course of the week to learn more about the history of E3.
I didn't even know that. How surprising. I like the hoop and stick. But now it's time to check in with our friends right across the stage. It's Adam and Olivia.
Yes, Kevin, I guess in the past they all look like us too. Well, thank you guys. Weeknights at midnight just got a little bit darker with Midnight Spank, the new late night block here on G4.
Midnight Spank. It's an interesting name.
Yes, exactly what I was going to say. Interesting. Midnight Spank. It mixes shows like Bonsai, Brainiac, and Cinematech, Nocturnal Emissions with new shows like Ed the Sock's Night Party, Cheaters, and the Late Night Peep Show.
All making for a rather outrageous block of shows that could only air in late G4 night.
Now, tonight at midnight, it is back-to-back episodes of the cult Japanese show Bonsai, where you can play along online. Now, that's Midnight Spank every weeknight at midnight, right here on G4. Now, coming up on E306 Live, we have an exclusive look at the trailer for Metal Gear Solid 4. Touch that remote, and I will literally kill you.
Really?
No, but I will give them a stern talking to, like,
Okay.
Coming up next, get an exclusive peek at a world premiere game for the PS3. Plus, breaking news from Microsoft when E306 Live returns on G4. E306 Live is presented by Scion. Cars ready for personalization. Scion, what moves you?
Oh, yay. They made it through the commercials.
Good for you.
Nice. Welcome back to E306 Live, presented by Scion and Mountain Dew.
As a reward, we're going to let you see more E3 coverage.
That's pretty sweet. What was the, was there a second prize?
Well, it was a set of steak knives, for cutting in the, the tin can. Anyway, American journalists, they have long stood up to speak out against tyranny, injustice, and video games. And to continue this tradition, we present our own highly opinionated voice of reason with some insider tips on attending E3. Please enjoy this. The very first Morgan Minute.
For this first Morgan Minute, I thought I'd share a bit of my expertise. So you go to enough conventions, expos, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments, you pick up some tips, and here are the big three. A, bring a Sherpa. There's a lot going on at E3. All the booths are making noises, and there's a lot of Best Buy executives milling around. It's helpful to have a sturdy Nepalese guide to keep your bearings. B, bring a taser. Like I said, there are a lot of Best Buy execs, and sometimes they can get a little pushy about the line to play Twilight Princess. And in that case, the ability to stun someone into submission can be quite useful. And C, be famous. Not the kind of extended cable pretend famous that I am, like real famous. See, E3 always sees big names like Gary Coleman and Elijah Wood here, and want to know who always gets to cut to the front of the swag line? The guys who destroyed the One Ring or didn't know what Willis was talking about. In conclusion, E3 is a cavalcade of wonder for everyone, but it's even better if you've done some thoughtful planning.
All right, thanks, Morgan. Now, it's been called the greatest generation, but now World War II has entered the next generation of gaming. Here's a premiere of Call of Duty 3.
There's lots more E306 Live. We've got more games and more exclusive inside info. By the way, if you're watching this on TiVo, don't fast forward through the ads. People paid really good money for those.
After the break, we'll hear from you, the viewer, as we check the heat index. Then take a trip inside the mind of the creator of The Sims. E306 is also brought to you by Netscape. Sign up today and get free Web Accelerator when you stay for 12 months.
Live, everybody, presented by Scion and Mountain Dew. We're fast approaching the end of our first hour together, and now it's time to check in with the heat index. Now, we're going to run down the list of what we've seen in this past hour, and we'll find out exactly what you, all of you, the audience, thought. Let's start off with one of the huge announcements so far, really. This one's a big one. It's Bungie Studios' Halo 3. You guys rated it as volcanic. Yes. or warm. One of the two. Volcanic's the new warm, really. Look,
Yeah.
in 2007, we got a big battle. It's next-gen Master Chief. What more do you want? Of course it's Volcanic. That's what I rated it as.
Master Chief is all, sexy when he's shiny.
His new armor is even shinier.
It is. It is
taking
shinier.
advantage
There's
of
power and
shiny
shine.
maps.
Yes,
Power and
Halo
shine.
3 does look amazing. Now, but Nintendo, as we know, also dropped some big news today about the Nintendo Wii. Now, you went to the Heat Index and you voted, and you rated it as scorching hot. Va-va-va-voom. I was excited when they brought out the little, orchestra simulation when they were playing golf. I mean,
And that was in the first 5 seconds.
I might even be excited about playing golf. I hate golf. And you give me
Nintendo
a
knows how to start a
controller.
press conference.
Yes,
Oh, they
that
do.
was.
They do.
That was one of the best times I've had at a press conference in a while. All right, Nintendo finally showing off their guns. Well, that's very nice. But let's not forget PlayStation 3. Now, Sony revealed the new details on its next-gen console. We finally got our hands on it, and you guys said it was volcanic. Now, volcanic, it's I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I would say it's volcanic. Resistance. Definitely got me excited. That's one of the full solid games. Everything else I saw, there was kind of a hack and slash and a driving game there in the press conference.
I agree, but I want to clarify one thing real quick. You saw on your screen, the Halo 3, it said warm. You know what? No, it's not. You guys thought it was volcanic, and that's why I was so confused.
Yes.
The thing is just as scorching hot as the PlayStation 3.
exploding.
Which says a lot, that a game title is just as hot
Exactly,
as a new console.
I think people are just excited about everything. That's sort of the impression I'm getting from the web. Everyone's clicking on excited, excited, excited. Woo!
Hey, I just can't hide it.
Well, speaking of that, we actually have someone who actually posted their thoughts and opinions on the website. Here's what Quipper had to say about Nintendo. I can't wait to try out the Nintendo Wii. This system seems to have the most efficient entertainment and price ratio.
Yeah. It's a good
And it's a
observation.
fun name.
It's a fun, it's fun to say, I'll give it that. But it's not fun to explain. But after the press conference today, I feel a lot more at ease with it.
Yeah. It seems to make sense. Just because now I want to play the games.
But it's a good observation. We don't know exactly how much fun it's going to be, but we know that the price is probably going to be cheaper than all the other consoles, and as such, I'm game.
And that's like the DS, too. I think that's what really won the DS out over the PSP. So.
Definitely. Two
The
screens.
games to 2 screens.
All right. Well, if you want to make your voice heard, keep voting at g4tv.com/E3 or text E3 to G4TXT. That's 44898 to vote and register for E3 Live News alerts.
All right, everybody, we are just getting warmed up ourselves. Our personal heat index is rising. We've got more of exclusive E3 coverage on the way, more interviews, more floor reports, more games you could ever hope to play in your entire lifetime. I'm serious.
Really?
I'm serious.
Well, then we'll have more breaking news on the Nintendo Wii and the PS3 when E306 Live returns on G4. E306 Live is presented by Cyan and Mountain Dew and also brought to you by Netscape, Art School Confidential, and ITT Technical Institute.
With E306 Live.
Presented by Cyan and Mountain Dew.
I think we'd just might as well tell everybody about the new attack of the show while we're here.
Yeah, that's right. Starting this Monday, things are going to look very different. We have a new set, some new faces, but that same attack of the show attitude.
Wow. And coming up this year, AOTS is breaking out with week-long road trips in July. We're going to crash the superhero of conventions with Comic-Con Live.
August, we'll head to Sin City, Las Vegas for a week of the sights and sounds that only AOTS can bring you.
That's right. And in September, we're off to Tokyo. That's right. The place that seems to be defining what's next, including animation, gadgets, and even video games. It's all there.
It all starts Monday with an all-new attack of the show right here at 7 p.m.
I could talk about us forever, but I think we need to stop there. Let's see what's going on with Adam and Morgan.
Yeah, what's happening in the next hour, guys?
Well, the last hour will be hard to beat, I would have to say. But with hope, determination, and the power of Grayskull, I think we can do it.
Yeah, I'm confident that we can. Now, how does some more FaceTime with the PlayStation 3 and the Nintendo Wii sound? I'll tell you how it sounds. It sounds good and whimsical.
Wee! All right, we've also got some hands-on demos that will kick your ass harder than Steven Seagal. That's the pre-fattened Buddhist Steven Seagal.
Yes, I should hope so. Now we have 2 human for the Xbox 360. Perhaps?
Yep. You never know. Maybe it'll show up.
Yes. Plus, we've got more exclusive game premieres, a Booth Babe retrospective for those of you who enjoy white pleather outfits, and even another Morgan Minute. Now get ready, because Hour 2 starts right now.
It's the biggest E3 ever, and the console war is heating up. Catch all the buzz about the brand new Nintendo Wii. Get a first-hand look at the exciting PS3 lineup. And check out these incredible new games for the Xbox 360. G4 and Attack of the Show present E3 06 Live.
Yes, everybody, welcome back to E3 06 Live, presented by Sana Mountain Dew, or as they say in Italian, La Segunda Ora della Esposizione. I'm Kevin Pereira.
And I'm Olivia Munn. I did not know you spoke Italian, Kevin Pereira.
Thank you, thank you. I don't. I just eat at the Olive Garden a lot.
Well, I gotta tell you guys out there, all the free salad and breadsticks in the world can't compare to what's going your way in the next hour.
That's right, the Nintendo Wii will be getting some more time in the spotlight.
So will all the great new Xbox 360 games that pissed you off because they didn't come out when the new console was released.
Oh, it's all right. We waited. And you won't get to see this stuff anywhere else because when you show up to E3 with G4 on your side, you get unlimited access, my friends.
And here to give you the most in-depth, honest game coverage available on the planet are the experts from XPlay, Adam and Morgan.
Yeah, you guys got a lot on your plates today, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't even have plates, but yes, we do, Kevin. Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm Adam Sessler.
That's right, and I am Morgan Webb. Coming up this hour, we're going hands-on with one of the most highly anticipated titles of the year, Too Human for the Xbox 360. It's gorgeous.
Plus, the best of E3 booth babes and the exclusive world premiere of Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots.
People seem to like their Metal Gear Solid.
I know, it's funny that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is funny. Now, there is so much going on at E3. It's pretty much impossible to avoid doing something cool.
You're right.
Yeah.
There's nothing to worry about except maybe Iraq and the whole immigration thing. Hey, but why bring everybody down? This is E3, the most important event in the gaming year, and G4 is here in full force.
Yes, in fact, E3 is so huge, you may be wondering how we're able to capture it all and conveniently cram it and beam it inside your television set.
Well, it's because we got people working for us all over the place, making sure they've got every angle covered. Check this out.
Yo, I'm Zach Selwyn here at the Sony press conference. I got all the information you need about the new PS3 games. I'm talking about Final Fantasy 3. I'm talking about Metal Gear Solid 4. I'm talking about Rocky 5. Just kidding. Stick around.
Hey, I'm Kristen Holt at Nintendo's press event, and we finally got to see what the Wii's games look like and how developers are using the controller to do everything from shooting space pirates to balancing brooms.
Hey, I'm Jeff Keighley here at the Grauman's Chinese Theater for Microsoft's press briefing, where you're going to see amazing footage of Forza 2, Fable 2, and Gears of War. But now back to the stage.
Man, G4 is really going all out for this convention.
Yeah, we decided to dress nice. You don't know the half of it, actually. The president of the network actually made me get an E3 tattoo. Seriously.
Where?
I don't want to say. Give you a clue. It's near the taint.
I'm pretty sure that's not going to make the heat index, but
Swamp
you know,
index.
it is up to our viewers, so you never know.
You never know. Oh, that's right, the heat index. That's where you, the guy sitting in the living room wearing the Pac-Man boxer shorts, you get to tell us what you think the coolest things are at this year's E3.
Just log on to g4tv.com/E3 and let your voice be heard. At the end of the hour, we're even going to be reading your opinions live on the air, so make them good.
You can also text E3 to G4TXT, that's 44898 to vote and register for E3 Live News Alerts. Now, you know, Olivia, my favorite revolution is probably the American Revolution.
Well, and who could forget the French Revolution?
That was oui, but
Yeah.
what about the Nintendo Revolution?
It's not called the Revolution anymore, Kev. It's called the Wii, as in wee, you just said.
But what am I supposed to do with all my revolution material? I mean, I was going to talk about the Industrial Revolution, or how about Prince and the Revolution?
All right, just let it go, Kev.
Weak.
All right. And if you want to find out more about the Wii, Kevin, let's check in with Kristen Holt, who's parked her hindquarters at the Nintendo event and isn't moving for anyone.
Hey, what's up? I'm here at the Nintendo press conference, and we've seen the machine, but what about the games, Nintendo? Is primed and ready to kick some ass in Metroid Prime 3 Corruption for the Wii. This time you have total control of Samus. The game looks incredible. Its graphics are clearly upped from Prime 2. WarioWare Wii throws tons of bite-sized games into a blender, then spits them out at you. In what is probably the most varied use of the remote, WarioWare will have you balancing brooms, lifting weights, and doing various other silly tasks. Saying, "Hey, don't forget about me," was The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Nintendo is releasing a GameCube version and a Wii version that takes advantage of the new controller. Both versions will be available when the Wii launches. Nintendo has always been about the games.
She's right.
Yes,
Always about
she
the
is
games.
right. Just Kristen's like the voice of God,
She
actually.
talks to me nightly and reassures me that it's all going to be okay.
Oh, that's sweet. That's really nice of her.
Coddles me like
going
a
out of
baby.
her way.
Yeah.
Like a baby.
We're going to have more on that later, though.
Yes, we will. Lots more from Kristen. Now, you may have seen those wild Nintendo fan videos online, and G4 is on top of all of that and any other new viral videos.
That's right. It's the best of the internet, and it can be found online each and every day with G4's Daily Nut.
We pour over the web to find all the best stuff, then we serve it straight up to you. Weird websites, fun new viral videos. The Daily Nut is the best way to find out everything that's happening on the net.
Yeah, and you can get it online, only online, my friends. Just log on to g4tv.com or at iTunes and download G4's Daily Nut. I like the giggling squirrel. Actually, seriously, a lot of people are loving it. In fact, I think it cracked the iTunes top 50.
I know. I think I did know that. Very impressive.
There you go.
I think it's you.
Did you know this, though? We're going to be back with lots more live E306 right after the break. You did know that, right?
I did.
Don't touch your remotes. I know you probably lost them in the couch cushions already, but even if you find it, stay away from it.
Field reporter Zach Selwyn checks in with Sony right after the break. And later this hour, we're the first to play the hot new title for the Xbox 360. E306 Live is presented by Mountain Dew, coming to you live and in color.
Welcome back to E306 Live, presented by Scion and Mountain Dew.
Yeah, now we got a taste of the PlayStation 3, but a console that expensive surely must have some more secrets left to uncover, right?
Yes, well, you want to know who's really good at uncovering things?
Who?
Zach Selwyn.
Ah.
And let's see what else he's found out over at Sony.
Hey, I'm here at the Sony press conference on the Sony Pictures lot. Now, you know the price of the PS3, and you know when it's coming out. But here's a little look at what games you're actually going to be playing. Check it out. Sony surprised everyone by showing us our first look at Final Fantasy XIII. That's right, Part 12 isn't even out the door yet, and they're already pimping their next big ride. And how can you not get excited for Metal Gear Solid 4? With graphics this nice, amazing stealth gameplay and the bizarre atmosphere of the series, we have to admit we're beyond sight. Warhawk is a sequel to the cult classic PS1 shooter. Sony still hasn't released much info about the game, but we do know it uses the brand spanking new motion sensor controller. And if you want action, check out the trailer for the new Sony-developed game, 8 Days. Plus, there are a ton of sequels coming out for the system. Virtua Fighter 5, Tekken 6, and Armored Core 4. Wow, they're going to start running out of numbers soon. Yeah, we're going to have a lot more here from the Sony press conference, including a peek into their online service, what's going on with iToy, and some new games for the PSP. Stay with me.
All right, thanks, Zach. Guys, next-gen chest hair. It's
fantastic.
It's phenomenal. What do you think of the old PlayStation Trace?
Well, you know, the most impressive game I think they had that was actually being played by somebody on the stage was a game called Heavenly Sword. We only saw a little bit of it on the screen in the little package that
a
we just saw.
little like God of War, perhaps.
Just a little bit, maybe. It's like God of War because she has swords on chains. But there were a lot of aerial moves, and it looked pretty good.
It looked
I
good.
Play.
Look, I don't want to be a live TV troll or anything like that, but Sony's selling a $600 console, though.
Yeah.
Like, they really are. The $500 one doesn't have the Wi-Fi. It's only got one HDMI out. Doesn't have all the memory, the media slots. Look, Heavenly Sword looks awesome.
Over that a little bit
They
when
really
like
did.
20 versus 60, and the conference is over now.
They really did. So I don't want to focus on that. And plus, Heavenly Sword did look awesome, but you're not going to get the rumble when you hit somebody with the chain. There's going to be no... I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be a negative Nancy.
But yeah, and that's okay.
But I totally am.
The world
Yes,
needs those. Now, if you want to know more PlayStation 3, more about the PlayStation 3, be sure to point your browsers to g4tv.com/E3.
It's a good website.
It is a fantastic website. I love it. Now, at this point, you're probably saying to yourself, GeForce E3 coverage just can't get any better. But you're wrong. We have yet another game premiere.
Another one?
I know.
Wow, we better settle down. This much activity, it's actually not good for my pacemaker.
You're not a little young for that?
Yeah, but I had one put them in just in case, you know, when I get older, I want to be there.
You have always been an early adopter. Yes, now let's feast our eyes on Huxley for the PC.
Come here at E3, and you can't see it anywhere else but G4. If you miss it, there's a chance you'll be emotionally scarred for the rest of your life. You'll never recover.
Up next, stay tuned for a hands-on demo of 2 Human. And don't miss our exclusive first look at Spore from Sims creator Will Wright. E306 Live is presented by Scion. Cars ready for personalization. Scion, what moves you?
Right now, we're going to toss it over to Adam and Morgan. They're about to go hands-on with 2 Human for the Xbox 360.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Now, a lot of you have seen the trailer from Silicon Knight's first Xbox 360 game, 2 Human, and you might have wondered, can it possibly be living up to the hype? Well, wonder no more, because your very eyes, we're going to put it to the test when we go hands-on with 2 Human as Netscape connects us to E3. All right, now, Dennis Dyack is the president of Silicon Knights and the creator of Eternal Darkness, truly one of the most underrated games of the last generation, and I'm always happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome back, Dennis. 2 Human. Now, I think the big thing about this game is this game has been kind of rumored to be in existence for over 10 years, is this correct?
Yeah, 12 years, 12 years. We first started thinking about 2 Human before we created Legacy of Kain in 1994.
Now, obviously, there must have been some technological reasons why you couldn't do it then, and then what is happening now that you can make it come to life?
Well, the exciting thing about now is with the Xbox 360, we've always wanted to make entertainment the dominant form of entertainment for this century, and with the 360, we can actually now create production value that is competitive with the movie theaters. So now, if you look at some of the graphics in the game while you're playing, we can make it look lifelike and realistic, and at the same time, with an interactive camera system, we can make it look like Hollywood. So.
All right, and I think I should point out that in a very enviable position is Morgan right now, playing this game and already kicking some ass all over the place. Now, you have been quoted as saying, making a rather grand statement that I believe this is going to change the paradigm and maybe even gaming as we know it. Those are some big words. How are you going to make that happen?
Well, what we're hoping is with an interactive camera system, the way people and the experience that they have with games will actually change. So when we went from 2D to 3D, when people were playing Pac-Man, they never worried about the camera. We made this jump to 3D. This added layer of complexity got added, and people are worrying about the camera at the same time as playing. So we created this camera system. We think other people are going to do this afterwards. Is why worry about the camera when we can just concentrate on the gameplay? And if the camera's focusing in and changing things, so we're not really trying to say that 2 Human may change the world, but we're thinking that this methodology is really what's going to change the industry and really bring it to the next level of entertainment.
Take an extra burden off of the gamer. Okay, so obviously that makes playing the game better. What are we doing in this game? This is a lot more action than you've ever done in the past. What is the story around it, and how does the action take place?
In 2 Human, you play the role of a cybernetic god called Baldur.
you're faced with an army of machines trying to wipe out mankind, and you're charged with the defense of mankind. You're always being told that you're not cybernetic enough and you're too human. You need to cybernetically upgrade yourself to fight these monsters. So we go throughout the game and we tell stories just like we do with Eternal Darkness, only at a much faster action pace like you're seeing here in the game now. And the idea is to create an experience where people can have it nowhere else. And if you're going to be, you know, really have the choice of watching Lord of the Rings or playing Too Human, you'd rather play Too Human.
Well, that sounds good. Now, it sounds like with the character, you could take some different paths, whether or not you really want to be Too Human, or if you actually do take on some more cybernetic qualities.
Yes, that's correct. There's a large component of role-playing where you can cybernetically enhance each of your different body parts, choose your different moves, choose which weapons you want to focus on, whether it be swords, pistols, you know, long staves, two swords, hammers, shields. So you specialize where you want to go and you build your character from there. And that also goes down the line of both humanity and cybernetics. You want to give yourself more machine parts, or do you want to work on your human skills?
All right, Morgan,
Yes.
you've had, what, 3 minutes with this? What are you thinking?
I think it is actually quite intuitive. For the first, like, sort of 1 minute, you're like, I don't know about this, but then you realize that it really is working in your favor as opposed to against you. And, you know, we get so used to playing games the same way that it's interesting to try them out in a different way.
Well, see that, Dennis? You have a 1 minute learning curve. That's definitely something to your
pretty
credit.
good.
So, also, there is an online component to the game. How is that going to fit in?
4-player co-op throughout the whole thing. So you see Morgan here doing combos and all kinds of things single player. Imagine hooking up with your friends and doing combinations between your players, and just the whole experience. The game doesn't change. It's the same thing all the way through co-op or single player.
Now, characters that you've been building up during the single player, can you put those into the co-op mode?
Absolutely.
Wow,
Absolutely.
that's really exciting. Okay, well, Dennis, I have to say, you've got me more intrigued, and I was already pretty good before we actually had this
thanks
chat.
so much.
So, Dennis, good luck on the game, and
Thank you.
look forward to playing it soon.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, what did you think of that there, Kevin?
Thought it was pretty sweet, actually. And if I told you that we had another game premiere coming up, you probably wouldn't believe me, which is understandable because I've lied to you before. Too many MySpace women know that. But trust me this time, the premiere of Saints Row for the Xbox 360. Take a look.
You put me in a trap with straps and no dough, no food, no water, kids drowning in the mist. I ask God why my people gotta live like this. I lie, I steal, 'cause nobody cares how I feel. Saints Row, Saints Row, Saints Row, Saints Row, Saints Row.
That action was far too violent for that poppy song, I think. I don't know. We'll be right back with more stuff that's guaranteed to make you say, I want that. Seriously, you will. Keep it on GeForce Live, coverage of E3, if you know what's good for you.
More breaking news on the Xbox 360, plus a tribute to the Booth Babes, when E306 Live returns on G4.
And Mountain Dew. If you don't know about our Heat Index by now, you've probably been watching with the sound off. The Heat Index is your chance to tell us what you think about everything you've seen today. Just log on to g4tv.com/E3 and let your voice be heard. You can even text E3 to G4TXT, that's 44898 to vote, and register for E3 live news alerts. Ah, democracy in action. You gotta love it. Now, here's the feed.
I'm Layla Cayley with all the news that matters to you. You know, the feed. J.J. Abrams took time out of counting his Mission Impossible 3 millions to tease lost fans about the season finale. The co-creator of ABC's hit series says this season's closer surprised even him. Abrams hints that a lot of it has been there and has been building up from the beginning of this season. Catch the last season finale, Live Together, Die Alone, on May 24th. In movie news, V for Vendetta star Stephen Ray and Ron Hellboy Perlman are the latest additions to the cast of the Mutant Chronicles movie. John Malkovich and Punisher star Thomas Jane are also committed to the screen adaptation of the role-playing game, which has spawned a series of novels. And in gaming news, Al-Qaeda has invaded your favorite infidel video games. A study commissioned by the US Department of Defense reveals that militant Islamic groups, both here and overseas, have written mods to popular games like Battlefield 2, recasting American soldiers as the bad guys. The altered games are playable online after visitors register with site sponsors. Sounds kind of creepy. That's all the news for now. Keep it tuned for G4 for breaking news throughout the day and visit us on the web at g4tv.com. Until next time, I'm Layla Cayley and you've been fed.
If you want to see more of the feed every day, you can, because it's part of the new G4TV.com. That's where you'll find the feed and all of the action from here at E3. Games, and more games. Plus, there's The Pile, G4's broadband channel filled with thousands of exclusive videos, some that are too hot even for G4 TV. G4TV.com, it's everything you want when you want it. Log on to G4TV.com. It's easy. G4TV.com. Don't make me say it again. G4TV.com. Okay. I've got an idea. Let's point our cameras towards Adam and Morgan. What's up, guys?
Well, hello there,
we're just hanging out with the balls on the new set.
Yes. This is our new set, and these are our new balls that we have for the set, because
when
there's
we
a
get
joke
bored,
there.
we have something to kick.
Exactly.
Okay.
Wow. Hey, Olivia. You know, Microsoft is something of the biggest wild card here this year's E3.
Yeah, well, you know, Nintendo and Sony are debuting their shiny, mysterious new consoles, but the 360 has already lost its new console smell.
What a smell that was. Now, what Microsoft does have is a multitude of new games for the 360. Jeff Keighley has more details in this floor report fueled by Mountain Dew.
Microsoft press conference, and I'm in the thick of it here at Grauman's Chinese Theater. Now, obviously, the huge news was about Halo 3, which is coming to the Xbox 360 in 2007. But 2006, there are a lot of great big games coming out for the 360 as well. A number of sequels. But first, let's start with an original game, Gears of War from Cliffy B and Epic Games. It's pretty clear that this is not a run-and-gun game. It's a stop-and-pop game, all about cover, and the coolest feature was a chainsaw weapon. That's right, you get to mow down the bad guys with a chainsaw. Pretty amazing game. It looks spectacular, and it's coming out later this year in 2006. Microsoft also announced two big sequels that are coming out for the Xbox 360. The first is Fable 2 from Lionhead Studios. Peter Molyneux is back, and he's doing this game for the 360. They showed a CG trailer for the game. No gameplay, so we don't know what it's going to look like on the Xbox 360. But it's pretty clear that it's another choose-your-own-adventure game where you get to create your own character and have the story morph around you. Another big franchise which is coming in 2006 to the Xbox 360 is Forza 2. That's right, Forza is back on the next generation in high definition. This game is all about customization and also great online features that they're planning. Again, we didn't see any actual gameplay. We saw a CG trailer, but it looks pretty amazing, and that'll be coming out later this year. So overall, Microsoft has Halo 3, but they've also got some other great original and sequel games coming out for the 360. But there's a lot more coming from the press conference, so I'll be back later with that. All right, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo are all going to do whatever they can to extract cash from you.
Yes, as are we. Now, the battle for market share is heating up, and here's a brief documentary on the current dynamics of the console wars.
またあったな。今回は容赦しないぞ。
Behold, power!
It's just me, man.
This is gonna be the best E3 ever.
Who knew Master Chief was such a stud?
I don't buy it. Real men don't have armor that shiny.
Now so very much more will be coming at you from E306 Live. I command you to stay tuned. Please.
Next up, we'll look back at some of our favorite booth babes and demo Crisis, the new game from the creators of Far Cry, when E306 Live returns on G4. E306 Live is presented by Mountain Dew, coming to you live and in color.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to E306 Live, presented by Scion and Mountain Dew. We all know why guys really come to E3. It's not the new consoles, it's not the game demos, it's the booth babes. But being a booth babe is about more than just standing there and looking like a hoochie. Way more. Take a look.
A booth babe is a hot girl that acts like she knows what she's talking about to draw the guys in. And then we pass the guy off to the people that do know what they're talking about.
We like to show everybody our product.
How can they not approach a chick with a hole right here? Of course you can take a picture with us.
Are you a gamer?
Come again? I don't have a favorite game. We're here promoting the new game by Capcom called Lost in Rome. Right? That's the name of it, right? Shadow of Rome. Oh, Shadow of Rome. Really don't play that many video games. It's a little air. It's some fighting in the air. It's some you'll land the aircraft. Would I date a gamer?
There's more hot girls than hot guys.
And a lot of cute computer nerds. Do you want to get spanked? Probably not. Did she say that out loud? Our cheeks are going to be hurting by the end of the day.
See? Booth babes really do have it tough. And it's only going to get tougher. The people at E3 have made some new rules about what they can and can't wear. Keep it on G4 as we follow this important story throughout the week. And for more booth babe action, be sure to check out g4tv.com/E3. And now here's Morgan Webb with another installment of the Morgan Minute. Can we get 60 seconds on the clock, please?
Poor PSP. Who would think that puppies and IQ tests would put you in second place in a two-man race? You would have to crash your car and run away like the Swedish Mafia was on your tail just to fall behind anymore. Daxter, Metal Gear Acid, the Mega Man series, you have the games, PSP. We just want more. But this is E3 where saviors take all forms, even a singing blob. Loco Roco first hit the floors of the Game Developers Conference and people haven't stopped talking about it since. The game's cute, there's no denying that, but it's not gonna require insulin injections. It's endearing, not annoying, like Adam on his good days. Sony has hit on a magical and mysterious formula. Simple is fun. From its two-button setup to the nonsensical songs that carry you through this pastel-coated land, Loco Roco is one of those games that's easy to pick up and play. Mindless button mashers are out, and on this lady's PSP, inventiveness and style are always in.
Aw, I don't think you're annoying. Or endearing, to be honest.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
okay, I feel better now.
Thanks for that, Morgan. I wish my name began with an M, then I could have my own minute. That'd be awesome.
Yes, your alliterative logic, it breaks my heart.
Do it for the kids.
All right, get ready because we'll be right back with a double heaping of rich, meaty E3 goodness.
We'll find out after the break as we check our interactive heat index. Then check out Spore, the latest from gaming legend Will Wright. E306 Live is presented by Scion. Cars ready for personalization. Scion, what moves you?
Let's run in place. Hey, welcome back to E306 Live, presented by Scion and Mountain Dew. We're almost through our second hour.
Really?
And you know what that means?
Do I get to sleep? I'd like to sleep.
No, Morgan.
Wait, we get to eat more of those yummy hot dog concession stand thingies?
No, we don't.
We're going to get to marry one of those booth babes, take her on the road as a vaudeville act. Going, look at that booth babe.
No, well.
What?
Actually, what kind of act is it, though? Because if it's a three-wing kind of thing and you're
maybe. It's
going
like
in
you're spinning
flames and
plates.
rusted trombones,
exactly.
etc. Oh, yes. No, you're all
Yes.
wrong. We're checking out the heat index. We're going to start with Super Mario Brothers Galaxies, which Nintendo just unveiled today. And you rated it, well, not a surprise, as volcanic. I mean, come on, it's Mario. He's in space.
People love their Mario.
It's a zero-G plumber, and you're controlling him with the Wiimote. You gotta love it.
And it's Mario. It's one of those, hey, it may not look better than Sunshine, but it's Mario.
That's the fun thing about the Nintendo press conference was that the graphics came up on the screen, and no one cared that they weren't as anti-aliased as everything else.
Right.
No one cared that they weren't as shiny and next-gen as could be, because it's not about that. It's about the gameplay experience.
Yes, and an awesome one I think it will be.
Volcanic.
Volcanic. And of course, who could forget all that pulse-pounding Sony news? Their press conference kicked off E3 this week, and here's what you thought. You thought it was scorching. You thought it was a little bit less than volcanic.
Yes.
They set themselves a really high bar last year, and this year I think they spent a little time managing expectations. You know, the first games we're going to see out of there, they're going to be a little bit less exciting as the second gen of Xbox 360
That's what
is.
happens when you're not pre-rendered.
Exactly.
You're bad.
All right, but also to human-reared, its graphically impressive head. We went hands-on with the latest for the Xbox 360, and you guys said it was volcanic. I was really impressed with that game.
It looks beautiful, and it's quite easy to just pick up and play.
And also, I've always liked the games that are like more action-based, but you get to have that role-playing element because when you build yourself up to something special, you really get to see the fruits of your killing labors. You know, it's like I'm slaughtering people by the mass.
Yeah.
You know, I can't even take out the ants that get in my kitchen. So. Yes, well, I think it's time to keep those comments and votes coming in. You just go to g4tv.com/E3, or you text E3 to G4TXT. Now, that's 44898. That's 5 numbers. So anyway, go there, vote, and register for E3 Live News Alerts.
All right, now Sony kicked off E3 by unsheathing a heavenly sword during their media event, and now we bring it to you.
She's hot.
I'm doing it right now. Feast your eyes on the premiere of Heavenly Sword for the PlayStation 3. Olivia, I don't know if you caught that. The trailer starts off with one of the sweetest next-gen nut kicks I've ever seen in my life.
Don't
Did
get
you?
any ideas.
What? No, I'm just saying. It was there.
Yeah. There's also the sword to the nuts.
Okay, yes, we get it.
Can't forget about that.
Lots of next-gen.
Okay, my knees are weak. Thank you.
Lots of next-gen.
Kratos,
What do you think of-
is quite beautiful.
What do you think of what you've seen at E3 so far?
I love it. It's so exciting. Being in there, it's ridiculous. It's like sensory overload in there. It's quite
the BO from the guys walking around, or from the visuals from the screen? What is overloading you more?
Working with you, I'm pretty good with the BO.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
but everyone's here. It's crazy. It's exciting. There's just everybody's in there, and there's so much cool stuff and brilliant minds.
I'll keep wafting for you just to really make sure you get the E3 experience.
Right, I'm gonna hang out with Adam then.
You should.
You know, and it's only gonna get more exciting, really, E3 as the week ramps up.
That's
There
right.
is just more and more to see, more games to see, more interviews that we are gonna have right here on our stage.
Lots more
Yes.
E3, everybody left to come.
All right. No, I have to say, though, I do believe in almost nothing.
Well, I used to believe in the magic of David Blaine.
Oh.
Well, I'm new, and most of what you guys say sounds like lies.
She's a smart one.
Well, I guess you just have to try and trust us then, all right? Stick around, everybody. Plenty more to come.
Right here.
We've got lots more on what's new for the Xbox 360, and we'll demo the latest from the creators of Far Cry right after the break. E306 Live is presented by Cyan and Mountain Dew, and also brought to you by Netscape, Art School Confidential, and ITT Technical Institute.
beer. Welcome back to G4's exclusive insider coverage of E306 Live, presented by Scion and Mountain Dew.
E3 isn't the only thing going on at G4. We're also excited about the June premiere of Filter.
Yes, that's right. Filter is hosted by the smoking hot Beth Ostrowski. It's G4's take on lists and countdown shows. It's fast, it's fun, sometimes a bit unpredictable, and just a little bit off-center.
Filter kicks off with a countdown of the 21 most legendary parties, June 3rd at 7 p.m. right here on G4.
I can't believe it, Hour 2. It's done, and that probably means,
Yes.
I've been told about this,
Yes.
that Hour 3 is what follows.
Yes, we have our fingers crossed. If the planet isn't destroyed in the next commercial break, we're going to be going hands-on with the mysterious new PC shooter Crysis, that's with a Y, and get some FaceTimes with the Sims creator, Will Wright.
Yes, it's not just an interview either. He will be bringing one of the most anticipated games in development right now, and probably forever. That game is Spore. We will be playing it right here.
Trust me, you are not going to want to miss it, and you're not going to have to because Hour 3 starts right now.
Coming up next, take a journey with Sims mastermind Will Wright as he gives us an exclusive demo of his expansive new title, Spore. G4 and Attack of the Show present E306 Live.
Get some. Yeah. Get some. Get some. Yeah. What's up, everybody? I'm Kevin Pereira. We're back with Hour 3 of E306 Live, presented by Scion and the Mountain Dew.
Hello, everyone. I'm Olivia Munn, and you people are in luck. E3 is the biggest video game event of the year, and nobody in the world brings you more exclusive coverage than G4.
That's right. We've got the inside access to every single thing you care about. I'm talking PlayStation 3, the Nintendo Wii, the Xbox 360, hell, even the Atari Lynx. All right, not really. Sorry, two of you. I don't know.
All right, don't forget the games. Without them, you'd have nothing to play.
That's true, and from what we've seen so far, today, you're definitely going to want to play with us right here on the stage.
Yes.
Seriously, form a line, please. Too bad there's only an hour left in the show, though.
And to help us make the most of it, let's check in with our experts from XPlay. If it has to do with video games, it has to do with Adam and Morgan. How's it going, guys?
Well, I think it's going well. And in case you didn't know, I'm Adam Sessler. Yes. And when I get to be in a giant convention center filled with stuff I want to play, I get happy.
I'm Morgan Webb, and if you're into PC games, this next hour will definitely satisfy. First, we're going hands-on with Crysis. It's a shooter that it makes your eyes bleed with its razor-sharp good looks. It looks that good.
It does look that good. Okay, and then there's Spore. This is a game so mind-bogglingly huge, it encompasses the whole of evolution. So take that, intelligent design fans.
Yes, and we'll also be talking to the game's legendary creator, Will Wright. You've all heard of him.
I hope you have. Now, if that's not enough show for you, then you've got no heart left. You're a shell of a human being.
Actually, it really isn't enough show. There is more.
The hell you say?
The hell I say. We're also going to get our exclusive first look at the new Metal Gear Solid trailer and catch up with all the action from today's big media events. No one can get you into them besides G4.
That sounds like a dazzling array of programming, and I am so very lazy, so luckily we've got some help.
Let's take an opportunity to introduce you to the glorious cast of characters helping us cover E3.
Yo, I'm Zach Selwyn here at the Sony press conference. I got all the information you need on Sony's online service, new games for the PSP, and a whole lot more. Stick around.
Hey, I'm Jeff Keighley here at Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood for Microsoft's Xbox 360 press briefing. Big news on Grand Theft Auto 4 coming in October 2007, and also a look at Two Human, Mass Effect, and Crackdown for the Xbox 360. But for now, let's head back to the stage.
What?
All right, thanks, guys. Now don't get me wrong, your opinions matter, but not as much as our viewers. That's right. So don't forget to vote in the Heat Index. Just log on to G4TV.com, and you let us know what you think about the stuff that you've seen at E3 so far.
Or you can text E3 to G4TXT, that's 44898 to vote, and register for E3 live news alerts. We'll tally your votes, and at the end of the hour, we'll reveal what you thought was the most buzzworthy item of the day.
And if that doesn't please you, make sure you get over to G4TV.com and tell us why.
Yes, we'll even be reading some of your comments on the air, so please resist the urge to use emoticons.
They're very hard to pronounce.
They are. All right, there's been so much talk about PC games already that I'm actually starting to miss the Xbox 360.
That's true. Well, I have just the thing for that. Here's Jeff Keighley with more from Microsoft.
Hey, I'm here at the Microsoft press conference at the Grauman's Chinese Theater. Now, the big news here was Halo 3, but there was some other news about a game that wasn't shown at all. All they showed was a logo for Grand Theft Auto 4, but it is coming out on the Xbox 360 in October 2007. Now, it's not exclusive for the Xbox 360. It's coming out to PlayStation 3 at the same time, but Peter Moore did have a Grand Theft Auto 4 tattoo on his arm, and he announced that, so everyone will be very excited, and the speculation will begin about where Grand Theft Auto 4 will be set. Another surprise here was the appearance of Bill Gates. He's never been to E3 before, but he came out to talk about Live Anywhere, the idea of Xbox Live extending to your cell phone and your Windows PC. And Bill, of course, was also here to help Peter Moore introduce the trailer for Halo 3. Now, let's talk about some of the other games that were mentioned in the press conference. Alan Wake from Remedy was shown last year at the ATI booth. Nobody knew who was going to publish this game, but today Peter Moore announced that it's coming out exclusively for the Xbox 360 and Windows PC in 2007. And there were also some first-party games that they mentioned, games like Crackdown that's coming from David Jones and Real Time Worlds in Scotland. David Jones is the creator of the Grand Theft Auto series, and he's doing a new open-world game exclusively for the Xbox 360 coming next year. Another big game is Mass Effect from the guys at BioWare Pandemic. They did Knights of the Old Republic on the Xbox. Now they're bringing a new sci-fi epic to the Xbox 360. Looks fantastic. It's based on the Unreal Engine. And yet another new intellectual property that will launch first on Xbox 360 is Two Human from Silicon Knights. They created Eternal Darkness for the Nintendo GameCube, and they're bringing their new sci-fi epic to the 360 sometime soon. Well, that's it from the Microsoft press conference. A lot of big news on the Xbox 360 and also some news on PC gaming. They're not forgetting about PC gaming as well. But that's it from here. Let's head back to the stage.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Everybody, don't touch your remote because there's lots more E306 Live on the way, including Adam getting an exclusive hands-on demo with the Nintendo Wii.
Well, you know, they can touch their remotes just as long as they don't change the channel. I mean, like, what if they want to turn up the volume or something, or just hold it?
Oh, okay, all right, I guess that's allowed. That's fine. Just be here when we get back, or you're going to regret it.
You can't be so hard on them.
The brains behind Far Cry will demo their new game, Crysis, and we get the Nintendo Wii right after this. E306 Live is presented by Mountain Dew, coming to you live and in color.
At E306 Live, presented by Scion and Mountain Dew. Now, I hope you like exclusive coverage because that's what's on today's menu.
That is right, yes. Morgan. We are going back to Nintendo for a look at one of the launch titles for its brand new Wii, Red Steel.
Yes, Nintendo has graciously allowed us to get our grubby little hands on the game before the expo doors have even opened. Now, here with the exclusive first look is Adam Sessler.
The show floor may not be up, but we are here in Nintendo's booth, and we're about to get a look at Red Steel for the Nintendo Wii, hosted by the game's developer, Xavier Poise. Okay, Xavier, obviously we know it's a shooter, but this is playing a lot differently. How are we controlling it with the Wii controller?
Yeah, actually, the Wii controller enables the player to really feel that both his hands have entered the screen. That means that he's able to handle the gun the way he wants. For instance, you can play gangsta style. For the reload of the gun, it's very funny. It's what you will do in real life with a shotgun, for instance. Do like this. And that would be the same with doors to open, for instance. Do like you do at home, turn your hand or push it very hard, it will open the door.
7 to the door. Oh, that's awesome. Now, this also has swordplay in it, but how do you incorporate that into the game?
Just have to slash the air like this, and so you will kill your enemy.
What is the nunchuck doing in the course of this?
So the nunchuck enables you to move and also to parry. So that means that you can block enemies' attacks with the left hand, and you can slash him with the right hand.
All right, well, Xavier, I think I'm going to give it a shot now, all right? There's a tendency to want to overdo things a lot. And this is really just very simple. You just go like that, I'm parrying. Kill the guy, kill the guy, kill the guy. That was quite a treat and something to get to see a little bit ahead of time. Xavier, Roman, thank you very much, and let's send it back up there.
All right, thanks, Adam. Now, the masterminds behind the unconventional AI of the PC shooter Far Cry are back with their latest action-packed release. So strap on your nanomuscle suit and watch as I show these North Koreans who's boss as we go hands-on with Crysis. Joining me is Cevat Yearly, president of Crytek, and playing the game is not Ben O'Donnell, it's Sten Hublek, correct?
Yes.
All right, can I call you Ben? Is that all right?
No.
All right.
Fine.
Ben, let's get this thing fired up.
Okay.
Let's get this going. Cevat, a game, first-person shooter, set in a jungle, foliage everywhere, water, vehicles, boats, guns, everything, right? You're telling me it's not a sequel to Far Cry, though?
No, it's not a sequel to Far Cry. It's a complete new IP, new characters, new environments, new storyline, new gameplay, and so all around new.
Far Cry wasn't broke, though. So, I mean, it's funny that you're reinventing the wheel here, but obviously you learned some things from Far Cry. You're probably implementing them in Crysis, right?
Yeah. Part of it was like the storyline, the world was not constant enough for us. The gameplay, we learned a good lessons from the gameplay, but certain gameplays didn't work for us. So the conclusion was, in order to fix the problems of Far Cry, we need to reinvent a new IP, essentially.
You kind of, in the first game, had the Hills Have Eyes problem, where the moment you see the mutants, something's wrong, right?
Yeah.
What happened with the mutants in Far Cry?
Well, the mutants, they were essentially the gameplay of Far Cry exists out of two kind of gameplays: out-reactive and outsmartive. Outsmarting gameplay. Outsmart is what today works still, which is about like kind of vini-vidi-vici. You kind of come to a certain situation, you observe, you make your tactical choices, and you conquer the situation.
Right.
But the mutants were about out-reacting, which is traditional shooting. It linearized the experience. It made it essentially more linear in terms of how I felt about the intelligence of my enemy. So I had only one desire, to kill the enemy. And that was not what we wanted. We wanted the player always feel more gratified by being more smarter than the AI. So we kept that and built the entire new IP around this and nothing else.
All right, so what is Crysis? What is going on? What is the story? Where are we? Who are we fighting? Why?
So a massive asteroid essentially crash lands or crashes at the Spratly Islands, kind of fictional island, which is based on real island sets. What's happening there is right now is that based on that crash land, the North Koreans create a perimeter around that in order to claim ownership. So the Americans are sending out a special force unit in order to dispatch some specialists to recon information about this. So
tell me there's mutants though. You didn't completely ban the mutants, right?
They are much cooler. They are aliens right now.
All right.
The most beloved, popular enemy of mankind. Computer history.
Of course.
So we made our goal is essentially to create the smartest aliens ever created. So we said this time. And as you're fighting the North Koreans, what happens essentially is that the ship dismantles the asteroid kind of crust and creates this flash frozen environment, which is the picture we started Crysis, which is kind of the frozen paradise.
Right.
That was the image we wanted to create. The stark contrast between warm and cold, between like a beach with water but frozen, between palm trees but frozen. So we wanted this. We started the image like this, and so the alien ships is flash freezing the island chain in order for you essentially to, well, in order to terraform the island chain, in order to start the alien invasion.
Right. So we got the best of both worlds. We've got ice, we've got palm trees, and it happens to look pretty nice. I don't know if you're aware of this,
but
the graphics in the game,
you know?
they look really good. I mean, I'm sure you've heard this 1,001 times, but people's jaws literally hit the floor. You should record the sound and put it in your game somewhere because they're blown away. This is an effect. I mean, we're seeing a whole bunch of effects that can only happen with Windows Vista, right? You guys are doing some stuff with DirectX 10 that allows for some really cool things.
Well, DirectX 9 and 10, what we are doing essentially is we say, let's forget about what the individual features are, like subsurface gathering, per pixel. We got pretty much, I mean, you can make a checkbox list, and we got pretty much all of the features.
Right.
But what does really matter is, ultimately, is the experience you're going to get. And DX10, for example, you can see like how we are destroying and breaking our trees here, how we are like, for example, that's part of the new game, new core gameplay in the first act.
This is an environmental activist's worst nightmare. You can plow down an entire forest with a machine gun if you want, right?
Exactly, yeah. There's no limits anymore. I mean, we said the two rules we wanted to achieve is our tropical environments were, first, they're supposed to look photoreal, okay, so we made it under different art direction. Second, we want full demolition, we said. And people at the beginning, they were like, yeah, you're crazy, it's not going to happen. You don't get video realism, you don't get destructible vegetation, you don't get like leaves bending correctly and realistically. Well, we are getting it actually right now.
Next-gen foliage has arrived. We thank you guys so much for the demo, really, for bringing it on.
Thank you, Kevin.
It looks amazing. Thanks for the awesome demo, guys.
Thanks.
All right. My wrists hurt just from watching the game being played, I'm going to be honest. So, Morgan, if you have any ice, that'd be fantastic.
Only in my veins, Kevin. Now, G4's video game coverage does not end with E3. There's the Video Game Mashup, TV's only daily block dedicated to all things video game. Now, the heart of the mashup is a show I know a little something about. It's called X-Play. It's where Adam Sessler and I play and review every game we can get our hands on. The mashup is 3 full hours of cheats, tips, tricks, and our brutally honest game reviews. Do not miss X-Play and the rest of the mashup weekdays from 4 to 7 p.m. right here on G4. Now, you might want to prepare some smelling salts and sterile gauze, because when you see what's coming up after the break, you could easily pass out and injure yourself, and we don't need the lawsuits.
We'll tell you what the PS3 has in store. And don't miss our exclusive first look at Spore from Sims creator Will Wright. Stay tuned. E306 Live is also brought to you by Sony Pictures Classic Art School Confidential. In theaters everywhere May 12th.
That red light on top of the camera must mean we are back from commercial. And you hear that? We are live at E306, brought to you by Scion and Mountain Dew.
I got to tell you, I couldn't be happier. You want to know why?
Why?
I'll tell you.
Why?
Because we're going to head back over to Zach Selwyn at the Sony conference. I want PS3 news. I want PSP news. I want anything you have for us, Zach, please.
Oh, unless it's PS1 news, because no one really plays that anymore.
True.
Take it away, Zach.
Thanks, guys. I'm here at the Sony press conference. Now, you know when the PS3 is coming out. You know what games we're going to be playing? Let's see what else Sony had hidden up their sleeves. First off, they've totally revamped their online service.
Online and networking for the PlayStation 3 is as essential as the air that we breathe.
You can download and play games just like on Xbox Live Arcade. You can buy in-game items and levels online and keep up with all of your friends. And the best part of all of this is that it's free. That's in sharp contrast to Microsoft's yearly fee. Sony also unveiled a new version of the popular iToy. The funky camera peripheral is getting an upgrade in the form of higher resolution and greater interactivity. Sony briefly showed off a few titles that take advantage of the device, including The Eye of Judgment, a PS3 game that combines the use of real items and virtual creatures.
Now that's what I call a duck.
But if you like your PS3 games on the more traditional side, check out the sweet dragon slaying of Lair. Now that's pretty gory. We also got our eyes on some new games for the PSP. Looks like you'll have a ton of fresh games to play on your handheld this year, hopefully ending the trickle of good ones we've gotten so far. With this much huge news from Sony, it's no wonder they're dominating the video game industry. Will the PlayStation 3 keep their reign alive? I guess we'll find out on November 17th. Now start saving those pennies.
Man, Zach has sure learned a lot about Sony, but now it's time for you to learn about everything else that's going on in the world.
Hello, I'm Layla Kaylee, and if you're feeling newsy, you're in luck. It's time for the feed. Director Guillermo del Toro wants to turn control of his next project over to the audience at home. The man behind Hellboy and Blade 2 is currently at work on a zombie apocalypse video game called Sundown. Del Toro, who describes himself as a lifelong avid gamer, is developing Sundown with Terminal Reality, publishers of the BloodRayne series. In further tales of the unusual, Michael Jackson is reportedly furious about being spoofed in GQ magazine, taking umbrage at pics of a Jackson impersonator sitting in a darkened movie theater with a row of children underage. The gloved one has demanded that all copies of the issue be pulled from newsstands. GQ's editor-in-chief says it's clear that the pictures in the story are satirical. And finally, Axl Rose has announced that Guns N' Roses is back, and to say that, yes, Chinese democracy is coming. One of these days. The news came during a syndicated radio show co-hosted by former Skid Row frontman Sebastian Bach. Nearly 10 years in the making, Chinese democracy will be out, quote, in the fall or late fall, Rose said. Then moments later, he told listeners to expect the album, quote, sometime this year. Make up your mind, Axl. That's all the news I have for you right now. Keep it tuned to G4 throughout the day for breaking news, and visit us on the web at g4tv.com. Until next time, I'm Layla Kaylee, and you've been fed.
Yum. If you want more of the feed, you can get it on Attack of the Show, everybody.
Yes, that's right. Starting this Monday, things are going to look very different. We have a new set, some new faces, but that same Attack of the Show attitude.
That's right. I'm actually getting a nose job on one of the new faces. Coming up this year, AOTS breaks out with week-long road trips. In July, we're going to crash the superhero of conventions with Comic-Con Live.
August, we'll head to Sin City, Las Vegas for a week of the sights and sounds that only AOTS can bring you.
That's right. And in September, we are off to Tokyo, the place, that's right, that is defining what is next, including animation, gadgets, and video games, of course.
It all starts Monday with an all-new Attack of the Show right here at 7 p.m.
Make this go a little quicker. I'd like to get through these commercials as fast as possible.
Are you that impatient to get to the Morgan Minute?
Yeah, well, no, I want to see Spore. After the break, we get to see Spore.
Really? Well,
yeah.
We'll be back, I guess, really soon for the Morgan Minute.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll be back.
We're going one-on-one with gaming legend Will Wright and getting a first-ever look at his new game, Spore, when E306 Live returns on G4.
Beautiful cacophony. Welcome back to E306 Live, presented by Scion and Mountain Dew. Now, late-night infomercial relationship expert Barbara DeAngela says we should speak the truth, even if it creates conflict or tension. One woman never afraid of creating conflict or tension is her own Morgan Webb. And she's back with yet another edition of the Morgan Minute. Start the clock.
You can hardly even say mech without turning your mind to overwrought anime plot lines. And Chromehounds wants to change all that. And a lot has changed since we saw these lumbering lupine warriors last E3. Developers left in the ability to tweak out every screw and decal. Your hounds now have classes, like in Battlefield 2, covering everything from commanders to snipers. One of the more remarkable features to separate the Chrome Hounds from the shaggier dogs of mech gaming is its persistent online world. You'll scrap and scavenge every inch of war-wrecked wastelands with 6-on-6 teams of mechs. It's almost like a massively multiplayer mode. Of course, with any country, even in video games, there must be a leader, no matter how incompetent he may be. So vote for me, Morgan Webb, as your supreme Chrome Hound leader. Do I still have time left? Can I save it for tomorrow? So like the Morgan Minute in 20? Is that possible? Oh, we're running out. Damn.
And now the moment you've all been waiting for. My introduction of Kevin's introduction to Spore.
Adam is the best pre-introer in town. I'm telling you, he's got it down pat. My next guest, everybody, is a legend in the PC gaming world. You know what, scratch that, no. The entire world of video games. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to score some FaceTime with the man himself, Will Wright. Remember a little game called SimCity? Yeah, sure you do. Well, the man behind it, Will Wright, is a true legend in the gaming world. Will Wright's initial idea for SimCity was so innovative, no one wanted to make the game. So, he started his own company and did it himself. And the rest, as they say, is history. Now, Wright is working on another wild idea, Spore, a game of evolution where players actually create life from a tiny organism. Man, talk about a god complex. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Will Wright. Will, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's funny, we call you a legend in the package, and you're giggling. Do you not agree with this? I mean, you understand that you are a god amongst the nerds.
It's an uncomfortable position to be in because really I'm representing a team of 70 people, and I'm really one person on that team, and so I end up being the figurehead really for these people. But,
sure. You're the reluctant hero of your team.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But let's face it, without you, there is no Sim. I mean, I'm sorry, from Sims to the Sim City. I mean, I want to start with The Sims. This is a game that sucked hours and hours and hours of my life away, much to my parents' dismay. Probably should have been studying. That's why I ended up on TV. What's the worst thing you've ever done to one of your Sims? Did you ever lock them in a room and take out the doors and the bath?
I can't say that on TV. In testing, we actually did a lot of kind of exploring the failure side of The Sims.
Sure.
and taking out things that.
Wait, it's not the failure side, by the way. It's the fun side.
The fun side, yeah.
But what'd you do?
Well, there were certain animations that we actually ended up changing because people got very kind of negative reactions from them. Characters would slap each other. People felt it was like domestic abuse or something.
Sure.
And so we had to tone back a lot of the animations because of the kind of emotional reactions we saw players having to them.
Sim Charlie Sheen, though, you're going to use that mocap, right?
Oh yeah,
we'll
keep it in storage for future expansion packs.
Did you ever take out the doors though and take away the toilets and watch them suffer? Because I like to think that you're above that.
Oh, certainly. No, I mean, as a designer, I have to experience all the failure states, all the success states. So that's my job to uncover all those things.
All right, now. I want to move on to Spore because this is what everybody is buzzing about everywhere you go. This is really the culmination of your God complex, right? This is the be-all, end-all for you.
We'll see. I mean, for me, it seems like this epic game, across all these scales where you have the entire universe on your computer. But at the same time, I want the game to feel very personal. I want it to be very much about each individual player's creativity and about sharing that creativity between other players. So at one time it's epic, but at the other time I want it to be very personal.
Well, it must be hard to describe it. If there's a way you can boil it down, a few sentences or less, how do you describe this game to somebody? What's the elevator pitch for Spore?
Well, I want somebody to play through the evolution of life from a single-cell organism up to a galaxy-spanning civilization, and along the way basically create their own personal universe.
And what are we doing to actually, I know we have a creature creator, which we're going to see in a little bit, but aside from creating the creatures in this world and the buildings and vehicles, etc., how are we actually controlling them? What are we doing in the game? What is the interactive aspect to it?
Well, in addition to designing them, you're also playing them in a particular way, and you're making them aggressive or religious or peaceful. And when they go out and end up on other players' computers, they'll still behave that way. So in some sense, you're kind of programming their behavior as they go out into the metaverse of other players' computers, and are now controlled by the computer, but still basically behaving the way you had built them.
That's great. And now you say go out to other people's computers. There's an online aspect to this, right? Which I've heard you talk about. It's going to somehow get content onto my machine from something that you might have created?
Yeah, in essence, Spore is kind of what we call a massively single-player game. It's a single-player experience, yet the world around you is continually being updated with content from other players. Creatures, buildings, cities, entire planets. So that when you get out to the galactic level, you're going to have an unlimited number of planets to visit that other players have created. Think of the web, when you go browse the web like fan sites and download cool content. This is burned into the game.
So the fanboy 12-year-olds on the message boards that I can't stand, their creations and their children that they've reigned and brought up are going to be in my world.
Yeah, and you can go blow them up.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yes. Experience.
So there is some action to this, because I saw a recent trailer for it. There was a UFO flying around and zapping everything in sight. What's that aspect?
Well, once you get to that level of the game, you can, play a trading game, you can play a game of exploration, collection, or you can go for galactic conquest. And so we have a lot of goal states in the game, very much like The Sims had, that each player can kind of choose what their goal state is going to be.
You understand that at the beginning of this you said, oh, people think it's this giant experience, and you've just described a giant experience.
Yeah, I think at the same time you want this giant set of possibilities, but it wants to be very narratively rich. So you can imagine a million different stories that you could tell in this world, but each one of those stories is centered around you.
Right. Well, that's what I like. I like everything to be centered around me.
Of course.
As I should. I have a God complex as well. Procedurally generated gameplay. This is a term that you've used a couple times to describe Spore. What is that, and what does it mean to the viewer at home?
Well, what it means is that we've had to teach the computer to do a lot of things that a typical game artist would have done before. So rather than having a game artist build the models, do the texturing, do the animations, the computer knows how to do that. And the end result of that is that a player can create a character, create a building, a vehicle, a planet very easily, because the computer is kind of alongside of them, applying all the really drudgery of content creation that normally our poor artists have to do.
And forcing thousands of artists to the picket lines because they're not out of a job because your game does it so well.
Well, in some sense, we're outsourcing the game to the players.
Very smart of you. Very smart. A galactic sweatshop.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see the Creature Creator. Thank you so much for coming on
and
sharing Spore with us. Everybody, I don't think it could get any better than that. I got to say, I'm speechless. Olivia, please.
Well, I say you're wrong, Kevin, because when we come back, we'll actually be going hands-on with Spore, the world's most addictive game you haven't even played yet. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
Will Wright is dropping his Spore right here on our stage. And you're telling us what's hot in our interactive heat index right after this. E306 Live is presented by Scion. Cars ready for personalization. Scion, what moves you?
Bienvenidos. We are back at E3 E306 Live. The people are excited, and E306, of course, is presented by Scion and Mountain Dew. We cannot forget about our wonderful sponsors. Now, we have been talking about Spore all day, and I say enough chit-chat. It is finally time to try it out. Will Wright is still here to take me through the game's creature editor, and I couldn't think of a better tour guide. So now, without further ado, let's get hands-on with Spore. Now, welcome back. We missed you over the commercial break.
Thank you.
Now, Kevin has his hands on the creature editor.
Yes.
Yes. Good luck.
There we go.
Let's get it started.
If you crash this, I'll never forgive you.
That's all right. I'll just go to desktop and play solitaire. They won't know.
Okay.
So this right here, we just have a little blob here, and we can stretch it out. We can move it around. I like this. Now,
This is very much like clay at this point.
okay, this is after the part where you begin as a single-celled organism, correct?
Yes, this is
Okay.
later as you're now a three-dimensional larger creature in the world.
So how many iterations or generations would this be approximately?
You'd probably play through about 5 or 6 iterations at the microscopic level.
Okay.
And then once you get to the evolution level of the game here, you're probably going to play through about maybe 20 generations.
Now, are your choices in the very beginning going to change what's available to you, or is everything always going to be available to you, like all of the eyes and all of the different options?
No, actually, the columns here represent brain level, and in fact, we've unlocked all 4 levels of brain here. So initially, you're just going to have that one column of parts, and as you advance your creature, you get more and more parts unlocked.
Okay, so how do you earn money or points to sort of get more upgrades?
You get evolution points in the game
Okay.
by eating certain things in the creature game that you then go spend after you mate. You have to successfully mate in the game, then you go into the egg and get to design the next generation of your creature. And so when you finish designing this creature, you would come back into the game and now have to play its entire lifespan until it mates again.
That's
My creature's ripped. Yeah, get some.
It could use some feet and probably some hands.
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
yeah.
Okay.
That is an interesting question. Like, is it possible to create a creature that really is not going to survive in the wild at all?
Certainly. I mean, the things you're seeing over here on the right side are showing the properties of your creature, how fast it is, how strong it is.
Okay.
And so depending on the environment that your creature is living in, you might want to make something that's much faster or stronger. And so you have to design kind of relative to the environment that you're living in.
So you look at the weaknesses of the last generation and you try and design around that.
Yeah, basically.
And so is each person's environment going to be different?
Yeah, the environment's going to be changing all the time. There'll be global changes in the environment. There'll also be local changes, competitors, things that you're eating might go extinct. And so you might also design a creature that's very social, and therefore they can fight together. Therefore, they don't have to be as strong as individuals because they fight as a pack.
So now creatures that, for example, like are more
Give him
warlike.
some hands. He has no hands.
Yeah, how's he
I want him
supposed
to catch food with his nubs.
No.
This is awesome. I gotta
Well,
say,
you can put weapons there if you want.
I've used
but-
this thing for about 3 seconds, and it's already as intuitive can be. Like, I understand exactly how everything is supposed to work. It's as simple as can be.
Those are awesome. So now how does the computer know what's a weapon, you know, what's supposed to be feet,
Yeah.
how you're supposed to, wow, those are
I
intense.
wish modeling a girlfriend was this easy, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Well, these parts are in categories.
Sorry.
So on the side over here, we have mouths, senses, limbs, feet, weapons, graspers, and details.
Can I give him 2 mouths, Will?
You can give him as many mouths as you like.
That's I already used that joke. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. So
Oh,
he's
mouths
got,
on the side?
Yeah, this guy's got a lot of mouths.
Will he actually be able to eat through those mouths? Ooh.
Potentially, yeah. Now, you can also, you know, once you get your mouths correct, wherever you want
I'm good, I'm good. I want to play with this guy now.
Yeah, actually go into texture mode and make sure you paint them the way you like.
Pink.
Got them all painted.
Okay. And now you can go into test mode, which is that top icon. And at this point, you can actually move him around and see how he would behave in the world. You can try some of the animations on top, see how he might look fighting or roaring.
Oh, he's pretty cute.
Yeah.
Oh, my little baby. I know how my parents felt, that my child is ugly. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, do that again.
Yeah.
Oh, is that him fighting?
So now the software has figured out how it should attack, right? It's figured
Yes,
out how
it's
it
actually
should look.
analyzed all the parts that you put on the creature. It's looked at its limbs and everything. And every creature is going to behave differently in this world. You know, they're going to show emotions differently. They're going to eat differently, walk differently. And that's really one of the fun parts about this is kind of the joy of creation. We want, like in about 30 mouse clicks, a player to feel like they've done something that a Pixar artist might take a week to do.
Now, is what determines whether a creature is warlike or peaceful?
That's how you play the game. So
okay.
at this point, we're kind of defining its physical attributes. Once you go into the game and actually start driving the creature around, we're keeping track of what you've done with the creature. And then when it goes to other players' computers, it will tend to keep acting that way.
Can you have
So if you put a feet on the end of those things, it will now treat them as legs.
Can you have a creature that eats vegetables? Vegetarian? Maybe even vegan?
Oh yeah,
Janus?
we have,
Yeah.
if you go back to the mouth palette, the mouths are actually divided into herbivore, carnivore, and omnivore. And so depending on the parts you pick, you will change, what it eats, how it fights, how it socializes.
Tell me you can't make a vegan, though, because really, they're not going to survive, am
Well,
I
you can
right?
make- you can make an herbivore.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So that's about as close to a vegan as you can get.
So, I mean, have
Yeah.
people broken this thing? Because I've thrown 13 mouths on it, and I've got giant legs, and it's still figuring out how it should look and how it should move.
That's the fun of the game, is exploring this, just huge space of potential creatures that you can make in the game.
And I like, what kind of eyes are those?
And then
that he's got
eventually you
there?
can kind of make these guys intelligent, and they'll have built cities and airplanes and UFOs.
So you could focus.
Not this guy. This guy's not building anything cool.
So
If
you
you
could
have texture
focus
first.
more on like intelligence instead of speed or brute strength.
Well, that's what you're actually trying to do through the evolution game. Is you're slowly building up the intelligence of this creature. Try going to test mode, and making him roar. And,
Will do.
The voice that you get from the creature actually is dependent upon the mouths that you pick on the guy.
This is
That is
incredible.
one hot creature
Yeah.
you just made.
What do you find yourselves making a certain type of creature when you sit down to do this, or do you make a completely different creature each time? Like, are you pretty consistent?
I'm
with your
always
design?
like pushing kind of the boundaries with this weird limb configurations, strange heads.
I like is react when you tell the creature that he's dishonored his family, because it gets incredibly upset.
Right. This is basically sad or happy. We have to take whatever the player's designed and be able to show emotions on it, in addition to things like eating and walking.
Because that's really what's going to connect the player to their creature and make them feel
Right.
attached to the little guy.
And then eventually other players are going to be experiencing your creature in their world.
Right.
And so somebody, as you're playing your game, you might see his creature walking around, and you can
Someone's
click on
gonna
the creature
say, "What
and find out
the?"
who made it. And you can say, I
Really?
like his stuff, and I want more of that stuff in my world. And so it's like a bookmarking a friend list. And
It's
so
like
if you
it's like MySpace of mutants, really. I can
Yes.
figure out who made what and
yeah.
keep going.
And
So you
so
can
in
actually
that sense,
meet
you're
someone
actually
by their mutant.
controlling what appears in your world.
Wow. And there's a creature like this on my top 8 right now, too, which is really awesome. I love this. This is incredible looking, Will. I mean, it's
Your
so
creature, I don't know
intuitive.
if I would call your creature incredible.
Well,
So now you have to give it a name. That's like the important step here. Is what is this thing called?
He looks kind of like a Hubert to me.
I was going to... Hubert it is. Done.
Hubert, well, I guess I know what I want for Christmas. So let's head back to Adam and Olivia.
Thank you, Morgan. I have to say, Will Wright, genius. Kevin
Genius.
scares me with his design ideas.
Yeah, especially since I was just, we'll see what happens in 9 months. All right, coming up next, we aren't finished playing around yet. There's plenty inside coverage from E306 Live. See you on the flip side.
What's on your mind? We're about to find out as we check the interactive heat index when E306 Live returns on G4. E306 Live is presented by Mountain Dew, coming to you live and in color.
It's so good. I love it. Give me a little bit more.
I love it.
All right, we're good. We're good. We're back with more E306 Live, presented by Scion and Mountain Dew, and we are almost at the end of our first day here. And I think we ought to check in one last time with that thing we call the heat index.
Good idea.
So here's what you thought about our hands-on demo with Crysis. It should be no surprise. The game
Yes.
is gorgeous. It's volcanic. Yes.
Yes, people hear the word Far Cry and they get all excited.
Yes, that's right.
It's gorgeous. I mean, I heard it was gorgeous, but it's more gorgeous than gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, sir? Is that a word?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like
Gorgeous,
meeting
sir.
me in person after only seeing me on the television. Am
Sure
I
thing.
right?
All right,
Yeah,
Kevin.
you tell that to yourself and sleep at night.
Okay, well, we also sat down with Will Wright to go hands-on with Spore, and here's what you thought. You thought it was volcanic, and I
Damn
think that
right
we
it was.
agree
Yes,
with you.
That
There's
was
no question.
amazing.
That was the single coolest thing I've ever done
Yeah.
with the mouse, honest to God, even after I discovered those Japanese news groups. I'm telling you, it's incredible. It's so intuitive. I can't wait to get
I'm just going
more
to
hands-on
touch you
time.
because you touched it.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
more or
exactly.
less-
Who wants to touch
I
me?
believe Matsumoto should give Will Wright a virtual hug for making a game that absolutely awesome. Anyway, we also had, we also had, of course, Red Steel with
Right.
Wii, and I
Yes.
believe that was given a scorching, which is a little lower than volcanic. I have to say, I would disagree a little bit. One of the bigger problems I think we're going to find going into the future with the Wii is that because there's the interactive component of the way you are playing it, it's going to be a little bit difficult to try to show that through the 2D world that is the television screen. It was completely awesome, and I got to say, there's games that Nintendo will work on even longer. They're going to be even cooler. Anyway, yeah.
All right, throughout the week, you can keep voting on the heat index at g4tv.com/E3 by texting E3 at G4TXT. That's 44898 to vote and register for E3 live news alerts.
Good times, everybody. We've been talking about it all day long, but now it's finally here, our exclusive premiere of Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriot.
俺たちの戦争は終わった。だが、俺にはまだ やらなければならないことが残っている。戦争は変わった。国家や思想のためではない。利益や民族のためでもない。金で雇われた傭兵部隊と作られた無人兵器が果てしない代理戦争を繰り返す。命を消費する戦争は合理的な痛みのないビジネスへと変貌した。戦争は変わった。ID 登録された兵士たちは ID 登録された武器を持ち ID 登録された兵器を使う。体内のナノマシンが彼らの能力を助長し管理する。遺伝子の制御、情報の制御、感情の制御、戦場の制御、全ては監視され統制されている。戦争は変わった。時代は抑止から制御へと移行し、大量破壊兵器によるカタストロフは回避された。そして戦場の制御は歴史のコントロールをも可能にした。戦争は変わった。戦場が制御管理された時、戦争は不変のものとなった。
罪を未来に残してはいけない。
世界を救えるのは君たちしかいない。
私たちは新生フォックスハウンドよ。
全ての罰を僕らが受けるべきだ。スネーク、今度は俺が守る。
アベル殺しでイブに追放されたのはお前の方だ。戦争は変わった。だが俺にはまだやらなければならないことが残っている。最後に課せられた罰は、俺の遺伝子ミームをこの世から抹消すること。それが俺に残された最後のミッション。世の中には語り伝えられないものがある。伝えてはいけないことがある。紡いではいけない命がある。
That's a real knee slapper, I gotta say. Killing himself.
Right?
Well,
It's okay. It's okay. I heard it on good authority. It's an airsoft gun. He's going to be fine.
Oh, good. Just one choking hazard.
All the rage in Japan. What do you think?
No, seriously, it was more exciting to see this because I really believe this is that was from the PlayStation 3 because there were some stutters in the frame rate. It didn't look as good as the stuff from Tokyo Game Show, which I really questioned. It was just a little bit too clear.
And that's okay. I think we should point out it's not a negative thing that it doesn't look as good because it still looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think I got the biggest reaction of anything at the press conference.
Oh, no, well, people are fanboys.
Right.
Metal Gear Solid fanboys. People get very excited about it, and it was one of the best-looking games that they had at the press conference, which got people very excited.
And it got people emotional. You put the gun in the mouth, and you literally let out a gasp. You take it back?
That was ridiculous. No, I can't even talk about it. It's ridiculous.
Well,
he's a dramatic man.
Notice this is the second big game that kind of has an implication it could end the series. We saw that with Halo 3, that it's the final fight, and this will pretty much, you get rid of Solid Snake, you kind of take the series along with
If
him.
the cigarettes won't do it, the gun in the mouth will.
Yes.
I think it's airsoft guns.
It's airsoft. It's fine.
Yeah.
He's
So
going
we'll go on to Metal Gear 5.
Yeah. I can't wait to play it.
Yes.
It's one of those games that grabbed everybody. It grabbed all of our attention.
It's going to be a top seller.
Our viewers at
There's
home
no
are
question about
panting.
that.
All right, everybody, get ready. Our last commercial break of the day is about to start.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean there's not more E306 Live to come. No, that's right. Stay where you are. All of you, actually.
What's in store for G4's exclusive E306 Live coverage tomorrow? Find out right after the break. E306 Live is presented by Cyan and Mountain Dew, and also brought to you by Netscape, Art School Confidential, and ITT Technical Institute.
good time.
Apparently
They
so.
had a great time.
They really like my ass.
They just,
Did you have a good time?
Yes, I did. I gotta say, I went in, I was like, I don't know about the Wii, I don't know about the Wii, and I like literally, when I saw today from the Nintendo Wii was the kind of thing, it's why I go to E3. It was just like the biggest shot in arm, like, wow, there's something new, there's something exciting. I wanted to hug Miyamoto. It's great.
He is huggable.
Yes. And
you actually tried to and were bludgeoned.
Yes.
Oh yeah, bludgeon. But I was bludgeoned, you know, but it's wirelessly.
Right. With the Wiimote.
And that's what I
That
really
was a
want
good
to.
one.
That's what I really want to spend some time with in the few days of E3, as I want to get a handle on what playing with the Wii is really going to feel like, because you know those guys get up there, they make it look easy because they've been doing it. These are their games they've developed, and I want to see if I can really pick it up and I can really hit an enemy with my bow.
I bet you'll be able to.
I have a feeling.
Maybe.
I hope you can make the sword fighting look as cool as it did today, because that was awesome. But
it's much easier than you think.
I would say I'm excited for the Wii as well, because I am, but Gears of War tomorrow, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, well, I'm just excited for the doors to open and see what all this excitement and energy is all about.
Well, and you definitely will. But if you thought today was fun, which it was, stick around because tomorrow's going to be even better. We have the first hands-on demo of Madden NFL 07. We also have Dirty Harry. Yes, Dirty Harry, Splinter Cell, Double Agent, Prey, Gears of War, and Super Mario Galaxy.
And of course, is that not enough for you guys? Of course, the E3 floor will be open and we'll drop you right in the middle of the hype-fueled madness.
You know, it's all at G4, people. This is the only place on Earth where you can get this kind of exclusive coverage of E3.
All right, we're officially out of time, but we'll be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. and round the clock and on G4TV.com/.